You are listening to the Inspiring Your Shine podcast, where you will be empowered with the truth to live authentically, abundantly, and on purpose, taking you and your business from surviving to thriving by helping you be authentically you. Hello and welcome. It's Rebecca, your personal growth mentor, and today we are going to be talking about visualizing. Now, why I wanted to talk about visualizing is because so many of you have no clue how to do it or why it is something that you want to incorporate into your life, because it can really help you to be successful faster. So if you are ready to start living the life that you dream of and you are ready to stop failing to do what you know that you need to do, then visualizing can help you. When we visualize our desired outcome, then we begin to see the possibilities of achieving it. So visualization works because, according to research, using our brain and imagining works because it activates neurons in our brain that transmit information, and the brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined, so it sends signals to the brain as if it's actually happening. So once you set a goal, if you visualize it, it's a powerful way for you to stay on track, because if you can see in your mind, you're more likely to feel capable of doing the work that you need to do to get there. History, of course, is full of examples of people tapping into the power of visualization, and you are no exception. Since many of my listeners are from the Christian faith, I want to give a little disclaimer, because practicing visualization isn't anything to be afraid of, and it is scientifically proven, and it's how God has designed our brains to work. Visualization will help you build your belief to know that something that you've not yet accomplished is possible for you, and it will help you to take the actions that will get you to where you need to go. So your ability to visualize was given to you by God, and it's an essential element to how we activate our faith. So as long as you are focusing on positive things and you're not being self-indulgent or egotistical or evil, there is no reason why you should not be visualizing. I even read some people that wrote articles saying that it's an occult thing, but I promise you the type of visualizing that I'm going to be talking to you about is not at all. The intention of what I'm going to teach you is that you want to use your imagination to assist you to live out the plan that God has for you, to serve the world like only you can. And I know you want that. So to visualize, you're going to be tapping into the power of your imagination. And some of us can do this more easily. I know that it comes easy to me, but if you struggle to use your imagination, don't worry. I will have a checklist with you, and I will even create a audio for you to help you to get comfortable with it, to kind of lead you through it. Make sure that you go and get the downloadable so you have access to those tools that will help you. So what you may not know is that you're actually always visualizing. And unfortunately, because our brains are primarily concerned with keeping us safe, and its defaults are keeping you in survival mode rather than helping you thrive, you are possibly worrying a lot, and you're using your imagination to visualize all the things that could go wrong rather than what you want to have happen. So you already are tapping into this skill, but you just don't realize it. So since your default is to keep you safe, you will have to intentionally force your imagination to play out these positive outcomes, and that is what I'm going to be teaching you. So like I said, remember that the subconscious doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. So beginning to envision yourself living your dreams and goals will help you to align your actions and what you are doing in your reality with that person who has successfully made those dreams come true. So we're really working on you at an identity level when you are working on your visualization. And if you haven't listened to like the last 5 podcasts, I definitely recommend that you go back and listen to them, because we talked about beliefs and identity and motivation and commitment, which are all things that you need for your success. Visualization will help you to achieve your dreams faster, because when you visualize, the brain will then generate an impulse to your neurons in your brain, and it will tell your brain to perform the movement in your body. And the more that we do something over and over in our life, then our brain creates these neural pathways. And that is that habit that you formed a habit. And so your brain makes it more efficient by creating these neural pathways. So if you imagine something over and over, even if it's not really happening habitually, then you can create it as if it is happening. So if you're imagining yourself winning or achieving or overcoming, then your brain doesn't know the difference between if you're really doing that or if you're just imagining it. So you're training your brain to perform that action and to get a particular result. And there's also something in your brain called the reticular activating system. So I'll call it the RAS. And it serves as a filter in your brain because there's so much information that is coming in through your eyes and your senses all the time. And so the reticular activating system, the RAS, will help your brain to filter out what is important and what is not important. When you do these daily visualizations, then you are programming your RAS to pick up on the things that are important to you. So it will start to filter the information based on what you've been imagining so that it can pick out the things that are important to you. So ultimately, visualizing will help you focus more because it will give you opportunities. You will see things in the world that you did not see before because you have been activating the reticular activating system. Even though this is a little bit scientific, hopefully you understand that. It's just a filter that helps your brain to know what's important to you. Much like training is to the body when you're preparing it to do what you want it to do, your imagination is like that to the mind. It prepares you to do what you need to do, to take the actions that you need in order to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. And it's interesting, there's an article that showed that when you mentally perform a task, it will improve your performance. So that article is from Forbes. So if you just put in Google, Forbes Power of Mental Rehearsal, then you can read the article. It's very interesting. But basically it is a lot of testing that was done that people that mentally performed and then also took action doing those things physically performed better overall than the people just imagined or the people that just took action. So it will improve your performance just by imagining. So you want to tap into this power of visualizing because it's only going to help you. How do we go about strengthening your visualizing muscle, being that it's probably something that you're not consciously doing right now? The first thing is that you do want to create a habit of visualizing. It's not a one and done tactic. And I want you to understand that in order for this to be effective, you need to make this part of your routine and your habits. So it's going to be important for you to schedule this into your life. And once you have it scheduled, then you're going to have to set a cue or a reminder in order for you to stay on track because it's something new that you're adding in. And it really only has to take you 2 to 5 minutes. You will hopefully build up where you're doing it for maybe even 10 minutes, and that would make it even more powerful. But it doesn't have to take a ton of time. It's not a huge commitment. And next, you really need to get very crystal clear on what it is that you want, because being clear about what you want is vital for you moving forward. So in order to use visualization properly, you need to have a very clear idea of what it is that you want and even why you want it. And this step is going to help you to make sure that you're not being self-centered in what it is that you're trying to achieve. Because when you know why you want something, then you can filter out anything that is just about you feeling worthwhile or safe. Because we want to make sure that we are pursuing goals that are not about our ego or making ourselves feel better. We want to make sure that our goals are actually going to improve other people's lives as well. But I also want to say, don't be afraid to dream big. It's okay. It's perfectly okay for you to have tangible goals. So I want you to look at it like this. I, for instance, want to have a vacation home near a beach. And I envision that there will be people that can come to that beach house and they can stay for free. So do you see how I can have something I want and then I'm also making sure that I'm not making it just a selfish thing? Or maybe wanting a beautiful home could also be a way that you serve other people by hosting or entertaining regularly. Or maybe it's just going to be giving you the sanctuary that you need to create. And there's nothing evil about that or egotistical about that. And driving a sexy car could even help you feel successful, which is good. And it can also motivate other people on your team or around you to take action. And even earning 6 figures or more can help you to give more money to charity. So don't be afraid to dream big, but I just wanted to say that as you get very crystal clear with your dreams, you understand and know why you want what you want. Also make sure to have that as a time to check yourself to make sure that you're not being self-centered. So next, once you are crystal clear on what you want, then you need to write your goals down. And when you write your goals down, it's very important for you to be very specific. So when you write your goals down, this is the first step that you are taking an action that will remove it from your imagination and bring it into the physical world. And when you write your goals down, make sure that you do it very simply. Like it takes up one line. So maybe you would want to say, like, my business will earn $100,000 per year in 2019. That's a very specific goal. And then you also want to write it in a very positive connotation. You don't want to put in like ifs or buts in the way that you say these. And once you have them written down, you can then keep them close to you and review them daily, because repetition is so important. And then you have them by you and you could even speak them out loud. And that's going to help you to build your belief in accomplishing those goals even faster. Now, once you write out your goals, you also want to think about adding emotion to your goals. So once you have a clear picture of what your goals look like, attach some emotion to it. Imagine the feelings, and this is part of the visualization experience. So you may want to just think about it before you actually try to visualize so you know what you're trying to do. Attach that emotion to it. Imagine the feelings that you're going to experience when you reach those goals. Because when you attach emotion to it, it creates positive emotional connections in your mind that sends those chemicals, like we talked about motivation, into your body. And it will help you to strengthen your motivation and keep you on track. And then we want to make sure that we do these things repetitively. So doing something over and over is the best way to train your brain and build confidence and belief. So begin writing your top 10 goals over and over as if they've already happened as often as possible. And if you didn't catch it, I said write it as if it's already happened. It's vital to write it like that because this is you training your brain that this is reality. So you would say, my business is earning $100K per year, rather than when you first wrote out your goals, you said, my business will earn. So you're saying my business is earning $100K per year. You can also use these goals that you write down that you're doing on a regular basis. You can use those as prompts for you throughout the day to just have these mini visualization sessions. So if you are doing them over and over and over, you're going to start to memorize them. And so you can easily pick out one of those phrases, those sentences, and you can just do a mini little visualization with it right then and there. So another thing that you can do to help you activate your brain and to start that imagery going, to keep those neural pathways strong, to keep the reticular activating system looking for things in the world that are going to align you with where you want to go, then a vision board is a great way to do that. When you make a vision board, it's a really good idea for you to include your word of the year, because remember that word of the year is that simple way for you to focus on what it is that you want. And that was a podcast about 4 weeks ago where we talked about creating your word of the year and filtering your goals through your word of the year. So that's a powerful thing to put on your vision board. And then you want to put visuals of different goals in the different areas. Try to think about your 3 biggest goals that you're focusing on and put pictures that would represent, or some kind of a visual that would represent the 3 big goals that you're focusing on. So I've had clients that did it where, let's just say that there were 3 things that they wanted. Either it was 3 people that they wanted to recruit, or I have a client that's a real estate agent. And so hers was that she wanted to list 3 properties every single month and be working with 3 clients. So whatever that looks like for you, you can put it into visuals, but make sure that you have your three biggest goals that you're working on right now on that board in some kind of a visual way. And you can do things like places that you want to go this year, purchases that you want to make this year, things that represent the health and the body that you desire, things that represent self-care and self-love to you, things that represent emotional well-being and the way that you want to feel every day. So this would be something that would be good for making sure you have pictures that represent your core desired feelings, because I don't know if you have listened to this before. I know that I've talked about it in past podcasts, but our core desired feelings are something that I learned from Danielle Laporte, and it is about that every goal that we have, everything that we want actually has a feeling attached to it, and our core desired feelings are getting really clear about what those feelings are that we are trying to produce in our life by setting our goals. So if you can put your core desired feelings into imagery on your vision board, that would be really, really powerful for your emotional well-being. And then, of course, family and relationships, and maybe things that you want to experience with them, vacations you want to go on, maybe them laughing around the table or having fun or communicating, anything that is important to you. So making a vision board is very, very important to your brain. Not only can visualizing prepare you to take action, it can also help you to overcome obstacles. So let's talk about that for a minute. First of all, just like with anything, it always starts with self-awareness. So if you have been struggling in a particular area, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you kind of do a brain dump and think about what are the different obstacles that you are facing, and just make a list. And so then what you can do is once you identify what those are, so let's just pretend that you have put on there that you are procrastinating to take action. Maybe there is an action that you need to take and you are not taking it, and you can start to visualize yourself successfully doing that. So let's say that it's phone calls and you've been procrastinating on making phone calls. So you can visualize yourself picking up the phone, calling somebody, having a pleasant conversation with them, asking them whatever it is that you needed to ask them, and them having a positive response. You can visualize that. Or you can visualize yourself having conversations. So maybe you've been procrastinating on having an important conversation, and you can visualize yourself doing that successfully. Or let's think of it as if maybe you've identified that you have a negative thought that, of course, that negative thought is going to keep you from taking action. So if you want to visualize overcoming that thought, then you need to figure out what is the opposition and the affirming thought to the negative one. So let's say that thought had something to do with confidence, and your positive and aligned thought would be that you are competent and powerful in doing something that you feel incapable of doing right now. So let's just say that it's building a team or promoting to a new level. So you can envision yourself as that person that you need to be. You begin to let the thoughts flood your mind that a successful and confident person is now having. So you're experiencing the reality of the person that you want to be in your mind, and it's going to help you to align your actions with that imagined person. And then if you are struggling with negative emotions, so let's say that you can visualize yourself taking control of these emotions, and maybe you are easily overwhelmed, and you let yourself think about how when you're overwhelmed and you begin to imagine yourself letting go of the emotions that you're having when you're overwhelmed, and you start replacing them with the opposite emotions, like you have the emotion of having clarity and what that feels like, and you allow yourself to feel like what it would be like if you were having clarity. You would feel peaceful, and you would know exactly what to do next and how that feels, and the power that you begin to feel when you know exactly what you need to do. And the only thing that's keeping you from doing what you know you need to do is to take the action. So you can see yourself writing down the action steps of what you need to do. It feels easy. It feels freeing and exciting. When you begin to imagine things that way, then it helps you to then start taking those actions in real life. And when you do this over and over, it's like you're rehearsing for how you want to behave, and you begin to build those new pathways in your brain that will allow you to create that new positive behavior easily and a lot faster than if you were to just try to force yourself to take action. So there's another thing that you can do when you're doing the visualization is you can think about a chain of events that you need to achieve your goal. So let's think about a big change in your life. And of course, every big change takes time and focus. So it's going to take a lot of small little steps for you to get to where you need to go. So you can start envisioning you achieving this specific goal or end point by imagining step by step how you're going to get there. So let's say that you want to get to a high leader status, and you know that you need to get through certain ranks and do certain things to get there. You can have that step-by-step process, which you can do in advance and have it all written out, and then you can really visualize yourself going through that process at every step. And even as you're going through it, if you're imagining that you want to overcome certain things, then you can deal with whatever it is that you would need to deal with and handle those situations so that you can already visualize that there's nothing that is going to stop you from getting to where you need to go. So I told you that I would give you a step-by-step checklist in order for you to learn how to visualize. So I'm going to just tell you what you can do, and then I'm going to tell you some more examples of what you could possibly be envisioning during this time. But then I'm also going to create a worksheet for you so that you have that step-by-step and an audio that can help you to go through it. Before we get into this, I do want to tell you that visualization does not replace action. It only supports you in having less resistance when it's time to take action. And after visualization, you want to make sure that you are making an action step to bring your visualization into the physical world. So after you do this process of visualizing, then you will want to right away decide what your action step is that can get you closer. What is that next little step that you can take and commit to doing that? Because otherwise you're only daydreaming, and that is not what visualization is. Daydreaming has no point and it's just pleasurable, but visualization is meant to help you to take action. So when you are going to be visualizing, the first thing that you want to know is it's most effective first thing in the morning and 30 minutes before you go to bed. I don't know exactly why that is, but it is most effective then. Now, I think it would be pretty easy to implement that into your morning or evening routines, but you can also be doing it throughout the day whenever you can. I think the more that you visualize, the faster you're going to grow, honestly. You want to schedule that time, set your alarm or your cue, and commit to it. So what you want to do is you want to lay down or get in a very relaxed position. It really doesn't matter. You just need to be in a very relaxed, calm state. So when you want to get into the calming state, the next thing that you want to do is take some deep breaths. And as you take your breaths, then you just start to think about how your body feels and letting go of tension in every part of your body. And this is just helping you to get into the moment and helping you to be aware of your body, because you are then in your conscious mind and allowing yourself to be in your conscious, and that's where you want to be in order to direct your thoughts. And at first you can just start to let your thoughts unwind for a bit. So I want you to think about this like when you're laying down for a nap. Now be careful, because you have to discipline yourself not to fall asleep. But when you lay down to take a nap and you're just relaxing and you're just breathing rhythmically and you just are letting thoughts kind of swirl around and unwind, that's a lot of like what you want to do. And give yourself a little bit of time for your thoughts to unwind a little bit as you breathe and let the tension out of your body. And the reason why you want to be in a relaxed state is because when you start to intentionally focus on projecting yourself into achieving the goal and visualizing that, then it's going to help your brain to receive it a lot better if you've relaxed your body. Once you begin, you start to focus on something. So let's say that you are going to be envisioning yourself achieving something, and you take yourself to that moment of that achievement. And the first thing I want you to ask yourself once you get to that place is, how do you feel? How do you feel emotionally about what it is that you're experiencing? really just ask yourself this curiously. Once you kind of ask yourself how you feel and you begin to put emotion to this moment, then you want to start trying to notice details around you. Because when you notice details like sights, smells, sounds, tastes, how your body is feeling, what's on your body. So let's say you're imagining yourself on a vacation that you want to win to Hawaii, and you are feeling the sun on you as you're sitting on the beach. You're smelling the pineapple in the air. When you do that, it makes it more real to your brain. You know how we said the brain doesn't really know the difference between reality and imagine. So the more detailed that you can be in your imaginations, then the more that your brain is going to believe it and experience it. Once you've really dealt with how you feel and what you're noticing around you and getting very detailed and allowing your emotions to be really positive, then you want to think about what's different in your life now that you've achieved this, now that you're here, now that you've gotten to this place. What's different about you? What's different about your life? So you can kind of play with that question for yourself. Next, you want to think about how you and your physical world are different from where you are currently in reality. So look at the contrasts of where you are now and how life is when you get to that place, and try to see what's different, because this will give you clues into the things that you need to start taking action on. And so it might be that when you see that, it's like, well, I have a much bigger team. I have a lot more money flowing in, and that will kind of help you to recognize the different action steps that you need to be taking to align with that reality. And then the next thing I want you to do is to think about, how are you impacting those around you? When you have achieved this thing, how are the people around you being impacted positively by it? And really allow yourself to think about that for a minute. And then ask yourself how God would be responding to you having had this achievement. This is that divisive thing that will help you to recognize if it's something that isn't in alignment with what you feel God wants for you. And so ask yourself, how would God be responding to you having this achievement? And it's just a great question for you to kind of make sure that you're in alignment, really. And that's really all. So you can do this in different ways. So that was kind of the example of having an achievement, or maybe you are experiencing a physical experience or a physical object like a new home or a car or a vacation, or going somewhere you've never been that you desire to go. And you can play with that and ask yourself all those same questions with that being your destination. Or maybe it is, like we talked about a little bit earlier, you overcoming an obstacle and really having you play this whole game of, let's just plug that in there. Let's just say the obstacle that you have to overcome is just not procrastinating and taking action. Then you can really envision yourself doing all the things that you know you need to be doing that you're not currently doing, and focusing on how you would feel if you were doing that, noticing what's different around you, and creating those details around you, like maybe your desk is cleaner, or maybe people are responding differently to you. And then you can play with that whole idea of, how is life different? How is your physical world different? And how is it impacting those around you? So hopefully that helps you to understand how you can do it in different ways, because it's all about helping you to experience yourself being the person that you want to be. You can even do it with a particular character trait. So if you want to be somebody who is more positive or confident or self-assured, then you can plug in that feeling and start from that place of, what would you look like? How would you look different? How would you interact differently? How would life be different if you were that person? Once again, visualization does not replace action. Make sure that when you get done with any visualization, that you go ahead and make your action step and make it real. Make it that you're truly not daydreaming and you are putting things into action step by step so that you can have some result. Because otherwise you're going to continue to be in the same exact place. Even though you're training your brain to do it, it's not understanding that it's important to you, because if you aren't taking action, eventually your brain won't trust you, right? The visualization will support you in helping you to have less resistance to take action, but you will have to take action. A couple of other things to help you to make it even more powerful that you can implement if you like is that you can use the visions that you are envisioning and you can bring certain things of those into your prayer life. So let's say that when you are doing it, you come up against feeling guilt, or maybe you recognize that there's something that you aren't doing that you should be doing, that you could bring that into your prayer life. And that's what's really great about if you keep some kind of a journal and you're writing out your action step, you can, maybe turn something into a prayer. If you would like to do that, I think it would make it more powerful. Or another thing that you could do is turn it into a positive affirmation. So when you are going through all of this, whatever comes up for you, that you maybe identify a step along the way that you need to take, and you can start saying that I am capable of recruiting this many people this year or something. Then you can turn it into a positive affirmation. Or I am worthy of all good things. If you're really feeling like when you're visualizing that you're feeling not worthy of those things. So as I close here, I just want to let you know, to remind you that your body can't go where your mind hasn't already gone. And you always see things first in your mind before you take action, even if you don't recognize that is what happens. And your mind's a very powerful tool. And when you imagine and you believe, that is what you become. You need to consciously be seeing in your mind who you desire to be so that you can take the actions that are going to help you to live the life that you desire, so that you can go out there and you can shine bright and you can make a difference and impact the world in a way that only you can. So as we leave here, I just want to leave you with a blessing. And this is from Romans 4:20-21, and I modified it just a little bit so it makes sense in me praying this over you, is you did not waver through unbelief regarding the promises of God, but you were strengthened in your faith and gave glory to God, being fully persuaded that God has power to do what he has promised. So I just want to encourage you to start implementing visualization into your daily habits and routines, into your life and your business, and allow yourself to play with your imagination and start letting your mind go where your body wants to follow. Now, again, the most important thing is that you have to take action. So even if those action steps are small, start pushing yourself to take action every single day that aligns you with the person that you need to become in order to live your dreams. You have a fantastic week, and until next time, shine bright and make a difference.